folks, and welcome to the Movie Mad channel. It's James here. Got my cup of tea ready. Today, if I'm not sitting in the dark, I think I might be sitting in the dark. Am I sitting in the dark? I think it's a bit dark. Hopefully that's better. Today, I'm going to talk about movies I've watched, I want to say, over the past week or two. And I don't really do this that much because I don't think I'm the greatest film critic. I don't think I'm, what's his name, Barry Norman or anything like that. But that's for think for a second. But what I did think was I would just tell you what I've watched, and it might inspire you to watch one or two of these movies if you feel like it. That is. So I wrote down the ones that I've watched, and what I've done as well is I've done a little interesting fact about each movie, apart from one. And the reason I've left one out is because what I'd like is you in the comments to put an interesting fact that I might not know about this movie. So we'll do that. So we'll start off with the first movie I watched, which was called Rent-A-Pal. And Rent-A-Pal stars Will Wheaton. You probably know him from Wesley Crusher from Voyager or The Big Bang Theory. And a character, I've seen him in a few things before, but I can't remember what he's been in, and it's Brian Landis Falcons. And basically, he's a carer for his mum. He's 40 years old. He's living in his mum's basement. His life is mundane, and he's just getting through looking after his mum 24 hours a day. And this is set in the 80s, and he wants to go on video dating, and he keeps on making these videos, and he never gets a match. So while he's in the video dating place, he rents a video called Rent-A-Pal, and it's a character called Andy that's in it. And is this going to be a normal videotape? Nope, it's not a normal videotape. So I'm not going to tell you any more about the story from there, because if you want to watch it, it's on Amazon Prime, and you can watch it there. I don't know if it's got a release. So there is one interesting fact about Rent-A-Pal. There wasn't actually a video in 1986 called Rent-A-Friend. So I think that was based on that. So a little interesting fact for you. The next movie I watched 8 Mile with Eminem in it, and it's basically a biopic of his life with some truth, some not. So it's loosely based on his life, and it was just basically how he became a rapper. It doesn't go through like all the way to when he's rich and stuff like that. It just goes through his life and his struggle to get to where he is. And I thought it was a really good movie. Even if you don't like rapping, I thought it was a pretty decent movie. And again, I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but what I will tell you is there is an interesting fact on this one, and that, well, I found it interesting, and that is that he's in a scene on the bus where he's scribbling some lyrics and trying to write a song. And that bit of paper was actually the same bit of paper he did write one of his first songs on. And I don't know much about music, but I wrote it down what his song was. What was it? I think I've ruined it. Lose Yourself On, it says. So I watched that one. Then I watched The Green Book. And The Green Book stars Viggo Mortensen, Strider from Lord of the Rings, and Mahershala Ali. I've seen him in a few things like Hidden Figures and a few other things I've seen him in. And basically, it's set in the 1950s, where the black character Mahershala Ali who's playing is a famous pianist, and he wants to do a tour of the Deep South, and in that time, that would be very difficult. So he hires this Italian wannabe, I don't want to say wannabe gangster, because he doesn't want to be a gangster, he's like a doorman, to drive him around the South. And at the start, Viggo Mortensen is racist in this, but I think as they go around the South and they learn about each other, they become friends, and that change in Viggo Mortensen appears. And it says it's based on a true story. And I liked the movie, but I just thought they could have went in a bit more detail at the end of what happened after the journey. But it just says they remain lifelong friends, and there. And the one interesting fact I found from that is that Viggo Mortensen's character eats a lot of stuff in the movie. He's always got his mouth. He's got a big belly on him. I think he's maybe put on weight for this role, or either that is really let himself look a bit like myself. And the guy in that he's playing has a unique way of eating pizza, the real character, and that is he folds it in half and he just eats it. And Viggo Mortensen insisted that he done that scene in the movie, folding the pizza in half and eating it that way, just to make it true to character. So I thought it was quite an interesting fact on that one. Next I watched Runaway Jury. This was right up my street. John Grisham novel with Gene Hackman, Dustin Hoffman, Rachel Weisz, and John Cusack. So, they're all very good actors, and all I really like. And it's about a jury in a case against gun manufacturers. And the gun manufacturers have hired Gene Hackman's character as a jury manipulator, basically. And Dustin Hoffman's the prosecutor, and he's trying to win the case, and he's got some integrity there. But John Cusack's character has managed to get himself on this jury, and he's trying to sell the jury to each one of these parties to guarantee a verdict, basically. And I thought, what a despicable thing to do. Mr. Cusack and Rachel Weisz, he's partner in crime in this. What a despicable thing to do. But as the movie goes along, interesting. So I'm going to leave it there, because if you want to watch the movie, again, that's on Prime Video, but I can't actually, I don't have it. It looks like it's pretty hard to get a physical copy of that one there. And one interesting fact on that one that I found out was that Gene Hackman and Dustin Hoffman have been friends since 1956, but they didn't actually star in a movie together to this one, and they don't have one scene in the movie together, apart from one, and that was written in so they could act together. It's a bathroom scene. So I thought that was quite an interesting little nugget of information on there. And so that was 4 of the films I watched. The next one I watched was the 1970s Piranha. And I'm going to be honest with you, I found that one, it wasn't, was it scary? Was it not? No, was it not? It just didn't land for me, that one. So that's the one I'm going to leave you guys to. Is there an interesting fact on Piranha that I might have missed that's quite interesting? So see if you can think of one for me, or find one for me, and put it in the comments if you can. That's if you want to. The last movie I watched is a movie I have seen before, and I think it's Hugh Grant's breakout movie, and that's Four Weddings and a Funeral. I really enjoyed this one. You can see where basically it's a bit Notting Hillish, but this was before Notting Hill, so you can sort of see Hugh Grant's mannerisms in this, and basically meets a American at a wedding. And there's 3 other weddings and a funeral that they meet each other at, and a romance ensues, but there's obviously fraught with problems. And I thought it was a really good film. I enjoyed it. Again, another one that's quite difficult to get because it's out of print at the moment, so I watched it on Amazon Prime, but I will have a look and see if I can pick that up at some point. So this was Hugh Grant's breakout role, and Andy McDowell's maybe a more established actor. So the the little bit of trivia, interest, and information on this one is that Andy McDowell didn't take a fee for that movie. Instead, she wanted a percentage of the profits. 2% percentage of the profits to be exact, which worked out that she ended up getting paid $2 million for the role, whereas Hugh Grant took a set fee and he took £100,000. So, not the greatest decision by Hugh Grant. Maybe he didn't have that option because he was a breakout actor, but I thought that was quite an interesting. So she got paid 20 times more than him for the film. So that is what I've watched over the last week or two. Some interesting films in there. 5 I've not seen. 1 I had seen, but it was a long time ago. What's your thoughts on the films? Put it in the comments. Have you got anything that you want to say about them? And I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll catch you next time. And I'm going to drink my tea. I didn't even drink on camera this time, did I? Look, the empty chair. That was a bit shorter than I thought. Maybe I should have talked a bit longer, but there we go. See you later, guys.